Morning guys, and welcome back to the channel, Hyphens Classics. Yeah, Mini's back in the barn and it's back up in the air with no wheels on it. So what are we up to? The first thing is, I'm not for sure I've mentioned on the channel yet, but I haven't been using the car recently because, when was it? Week or two, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now? God, 3 weeks ago now. I'd used the car one evening, parked it up, no problems, got it the next morning, first thing next morning to use it, and went to drive off, and the power steering just was like, there was nothing, it was dead. Those who've had the power steering pump fail know what it's like. Of course, a little bit gutting for me because I had it off, as anyone who's watched the previous videos will have noticed I had the whole thing out. And at the time I thought, it was working, but it was, we know they start to fail at some point. So I sent it away and had it looked at. I'm assuming things were changed or what, I don't know. But anyway, the annoying thing is you think you spent all that time and effort and money to get things right, and you suddenly it's failed. So where to get to? Well, I started to drive off, had a look around, turned the car off, turned it on, still nothing. As I went to move away, it seemed like there was maybe a little bit of power steering there, because it wasn't quite as heavy. I was driving down the road and it seemed to come right. Then I got up, I was actually driving up here, came up here, hopped out the car, turned the car off, pump's still running. And so that is now the problem. The pump doesn't turn off. You turn the car off, take the key out, nothing, pump's still running. Did some investigation, and if anyone knows better than me and what I've found, then please in the comments below. But what I understand is, obviously you've got your power that comes, your power connector that goes into the power steering pump, main power, that goes through a 100 amp fuse, basically effectively straight off the battery. Now, there's also some electronics in the power steering pump, and what that does is there's a connection from the alternator that goes in, so there are two little control wires, so you have a connection from the alternator, and what happens, what I understand is what happens is when you turn the car on and the alternator comes up to voltage, that provides a signal through to the power steering pump, which turns an electronic switch, basically a transistor of some sort, and that basically enables the power steering pump to work, and it'll start running. So I'm thinking a couple of things. One, that's just gone closed circuit, so the transistors closed or open depending on how the switch works, because as some of you know, switches can either work they can work in two different ways depending on how they've been wired up. So that's either gone closed or open circuit. Basically it's possibly failed, or there's maybe a break in a wire somewhere, so that the voltage is either earthed or it's getting the right signal to turn itself on. What else could it possibly? Not 100% sure, but so I think it's either the power steering pump or there's something in the wiring. So what we're going to do, car's up in the air, I'm going to go pull that control wire off to see if, again, the power steering pump shouldn't turn on when we put the battery back on. So at the moment the battery's disconnected, because otherwise the power steering pump would just wear that out in no time at all. And understand there's possible risk of fire, which of course I don't really want. So we're going to pop in and do that, and then after we've done that, you'll either see me crying because I really don't want to have to take that out again. Everything's nice and clean and tidy under there, and to get that out, it can be done with everything in, but it is a pain in the bum. I know I've done it before. So anyway, but if it has to come out, it'll have to go back to be repaired. Then the next question is, so while it's up in the air, we showed you the stereo equipment. I've got that sitting right here. We're going to start looking at, start laying that out and seeing what that looks like. Get some of those door cards off. Still haven't heard where the 6x9s are yet, but hopefully those will come in soon. But we've got plenty of other things to get on with. I do need to, have to admit, I haven't got the speaker cable yet, so I have to go and pick that up. But we can certainly look at and see how these, so we can see how the fronts are going to work, because they are slightly bigger than what's in the car. But we'll have a look, and yeah, who knows, after that we've got a bit of time, we might try and again put this front grille in. I think I've mentioned before, the problem is it's this front bumper is not the best. I think I should have got a lot cheaper than I did, to be honest. But anyway, the clips that hold it on, the front grille on, are just not there in the bottom. In the top, I think you'll be fine because you've got the aluminium crash bar in there at the top that will really push and hold it in place. So it's a matter of just having a look and see what we can do about the bottom. And it may be getting a bit industrial, a bit like we did here. With the aluminium plate and just some rivets. Again, the bumper's I'm not overly concerned because you don't see that, and gives it that, you know, race car feel or whatever you like to call it. Right, the other thing we did do, I'm not sure, I did film it, I'll put it into this video as well, but I'm pretty sure the lighting's going to be pretty bad, so it may not be there at all because the lighting was pretty bad. But we did change the valve cover seal the other day while we could. There's some other seals I still want to get to, and we'll just see how much access I get. And I do want to start looking at some options around the cold air intake. So I did just pop this in just so we could use the car, but can't say I'm very happy with it. It doesn't seal very well. You know, there's fairly good heat resistance with this extra sheet of aluminium here, but there's nothing that stops heat coming in over the top. And yeah, just not overly happy. To be honest, I do look at this and I think one could do some interesting changes to this. Having watched some of the turbo conversions, you know, so you've got the turbo sitting up basically in here somewhere, I think, and then your air intake maybe here. So whether people are moving the ECU, maybe moving the fuse box, there's a lot of space up in here if you actually start taking some of the bits apart. I mean, this is all big plastic bit, but if you start cutting and chopping and making some adjustments, there's quite a lot of room. So it's just a matter of seeing what can be done. You know, can you extend the ECU cable? I don't know how easy the fuse box is to move, but it's just cabling. I'm sure something could be done, but we'll see if we get enough time to have a look at that. Also, just in here, you know, there's a lot of pipe work here, obviously air intake for here, but you know, there might be something we could do. Right, for the moment, we're not going to be doing anything on the top of the car. I will just check that I have my jack stands all at the right level and all sitting in the right place, because I don't want to go under the car without it, without knowing that I'm safe under there. We're going to pop that connector off the power steering pump and see what we get after that. Right, okay, we've got that unplugged. We're going to go and plug the battery in, and this is the point where you see me cry or not. It'll be what it'll be, right? So, sorry, a bit dark in here. We're just going to jam this on, and if we can hear an engine motor running, then yeah. Let's just get that. Yep. So, on, and you may not hear it, but I can hear it. Power steering pump is running. See if you can hear it. Yeah, it's dark in there, you won't see anything, but hopefully you heard that. Power steering pump is running. And I've got no control cable in there. So that is a right royal pain in the bum. Now, I did think of a couple of other options, but the only problem with those options is, well, the option is that it could still lead to a failure at some point that I can't control. The thought was to get in there, I'll take all the take the cold intake out, I'll take the ECU out, whatever, pull out the bottom, try and trace the wiring, find out where it is. And the other possible option is to put a switch slash relay. You know, obviously it's a high voltage, high current, so it has to be something appropriate. But I could do something like that. Like I said, I could put quite a heavy relay in there. You can buy like 100 amp, 200 amp relays, and then put a switch inside the car. So therefore I could just switch it on and off from there. The other thing is the pump is on warranty from the people that fixed it. My concern is I've also read a story is you send that, I got to send that away. I got to take it out. I got to send it away. And then, who knows what they're going to say. But, I don't want to be disparaging about them because I don't know what they're going to say. Hopefully they'll open it up and go, oh, yeah, we didn't pick that up. We'll fix it for you and come back and it will be brand new and wonderful. I'll put it back on and it will be nice. Anyway, not 100% sure what we'll do about that right now. I'll have to think about it because to start taking all this apart as well. I've got to support everything. Now it's up in the air, I've got to support because I can't just undo this. Everything will fall down. So I've got to support bits as I take stuff off. So question is do I get into that, or do I start cleaning out the back and putting the stereo in? Because that sounds like far more fun than doing this. Alright, so we're just going to pop one of these speakers out because while I don't have anything to replace at the moment, I just want to see what's in behind them, have a quick look and see what I need to be doing for when mine turn up. Now remember as well, obviously this is just a single cone speaker, there is nothing else. I guess it's a bit of fill, right, because while at the end of the day, to be honest, I look at it and think it's a massive speaker. Do they really need to put something that big in? But possibly not. 6x9s, I think, were designed for parcel shelves when you didn't have a lot of space. Arguably, if you measured this as 6x9, 6-inch round speaker would have been easily as good, to be fair. So, could have got away with that. Who knows? Maybe these are cheaper, I don't know. But we're going to have a look. Nice dinky little screws there. We'll have a look and see what's behind it. I'm sure these screws probably just go into plastic or something. Or maybe it's one of those little metal folded clips. I'm sure the wiring won't be great. But the other thing is, I said, I guess it'd be interesting to see when the designers, obviously there's back seats, but how many times would you expect lots of people to be in the back of a car, especially adults? Kids, maybe. You don't necessarily really want it to be drowning out kids in the back, do you? So, just pull off. Yeah, there we go. Oh, nice small magnet, because, it's not exactly powerful, I'm sure. Let's have a look. Phillips. Made in Hungary, 4 ohm, no idea of power. I mean, they're not too bad, there's probably a good amount of movement you get out of these things, but not the quality we'll be looking for. So, what can I see? Plastic, expanding foam, I should do. Let's grab the camera and let you have a look. For those who haven't seen, so yes, these nice little metal clips that you get, not great, but they're alright. there's a bit of foam in there, bit of sound deadening up on just a small patch, not a big one, up on the outside skin there, and wires that obviously come through here. So we'll trace the wires the same way. They'll obviously come up here, because there's this is probably not exactly the easiest thing for you to be watching, sorry. So wires up here, probably because it's a lot easier to get them through that hole. There is a panel here, so you're not going to come through this way, otherwise you'd be going through two lots of metal work, and that there's a bit of space in there. So I think what we'll do is we'll pack a bit more foam and sound deadening stuff in there, and this is what I want to do, is I want to have a look inside and see what we need to do to set this up nicely. Anyway, the next thing will be, of course, once we've got this in, is where all the tweeters go. So the back seats ain't going in again, and so there's no need for me to worry about that. The tweeter, working out where the tweeter will go, it'll probably go possibly somewhere over here, up over here somewhere, so it's facing this way. For those who don't know, bass speakers or big speakers like this, they all send sound almost anywhere. You know, bass sounds disperse better than highs. So tweeters obviously send out a lot of high notes, and they're quite directional. So if you have a tweeter and you put it here, facing here, it's going to be great for a person sitting in the seat. But you know, anyone sort of out of that very narrow channel will not hear much of it. So because there's no back seat, there's no need to point tweeters internally here in the back. We have them facing forward towards where the people will be. So it's not too bad, fairly solid what it's sitting to. Just remember, anything like this will try and vibrate, so we'll see if there's anything we need to do there. So these cables will come out as well, because they are way too small. So let's have a look. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see what we can do. See if we can. The speaker cable I'll be using will be larger than this, so we'll see what we do there. But obviously, all this we won't cut this off. We'll just keep it here, lying in the car. There's no point in trying to unravel all of that, to be fair. Although, you know, someone could argue that's a lot of extra weight you're carrying. Okay, so subwoofer, amplifiers take up a bit of space, don't they? So you can see here, you imagine if I'd bought a second one of those subwoofers, probably would have sat there. It's a decent amount of power. One, I could argue I could stick it right in the back, but there's a lot more space here in these wells, and I can do a little bit more with them, I think, because it's, you know, we'll see. I do want to keep a fairly flat floor in here. Like I said, I want to have bags and things I want to be able to chuck in here and do stuff with, so I don't want to get too carried away. The amplifiers will probably sit down in something, so the wood will I'll probably put something up on this edge here. The question is always going to be, you know, well, what happens to the plastic sides? But to be honest, I hate those things. They're disgustingly massive. The seat belts, I'll probably have to take those out, which is also going to be a bit of a pain, because remember, I painted over all these bolts underneath, including the bolts that hold this down as well. So this, arguably, do I take it out for weight? Sorry, did I even show you what I was looking at? This. Do I go through the process of taking that out, taking all these other bits out? We'll see. It's all weight saving, but like I said, I'm not planning on tracking this car at this point in time. You never know, we'll see. But the we'll see if we take all this stuff out and what I need to do to clean up underneath when I do it, because obviously if I do take these out, these bolts, we're going to end up with holes in the paint where water's going to get in. So I'll need to get back under and seal that. So I need to make sure I can get to that. But obviously the seat belts need to come out, because if I put a piece of wood up on here, then these are going to be in the way. And there's no point in them being there. Which arguably, when you think about taking the seats out, you also I look at that metal bracket that holds the rear seat clip and the seat belt. Arguably it doesn't do anything anymore. That's what it's there for. So if I was really, really keen, I could drill out the welds and take it off. But again, you know, at the moment, I think I want to keep as much of the car in a place where if someone wanted to take it back to its original state, that they could. So now, does that mean I'm going to keep all the bits? Probably not. I can't imagine why I'd want to just store bits of plastic. But we'll see. We'll see. The things like all of the suspension components, for example, that have come off this car, I'm not going to keep them. At the moment, they are being stored in a shed, but at some point they will go. They'll either go in the bin. I don't know if anyone really, really need them or want them. Some of them are they're not in the absolute worst state. They could be cleaned up and fixed, some of them, but I think some of it really just needs to go. So we'll see about that. Anyway, so what I need from you guys is a little bit of thought on what to do. So my plan, and we'll set that up next, is to put a piece of board in here to sit it up on this edge here. Obviously it's not going to go right to here, but sit it up on the edge. It'll come forward, it'll try and shape itself a little bit down towards here, probably up to around about here. We'll sit it on this. It will be flat all the way to the back. Whether it sits up on that top ledge, I think it probably won't. I think we'll sit it on this one and have it just flush with that. Then the idea will be to, obviously there'll be like 3 compartments probably in the back there. One, obviously we need to get to the battery, and then 2 more just for storing, you know, tools and other things that are, you know, that I don't want flying around the cabin. What else? Then what we could do here is I can sit the amplifiers, you know, either side by side, especially if this is not here, it might help. This amplifiers could be side by side, or they could go one in front of the other. I need to see what I have to think about that. You know, worst case, they could even come down here and sit on the floor. But again, I'll just have a think about that. I'll get the piece of wood. We'll see how they're going to fit. Obviously, they're pretty big amplifiers, so they're going to take up a bit of space. We'll see where we put them, but we'll try and put them in such a way that the speaker cabling is nice and easy to route. Power, less of a problem, because power's obviously coming from the back there. We've got some pretty decent power cables, which we probably won't use very much of. The RCA's from the front, I've got one set in at the moment here, which is for the subwoofer. I need to check the head unit and see if it's got full RCA's out, or else that'll be a head unit we'll have to buy. Alright, lots of talking. We've seen what's in there. We did have a look in a previous episode. We did have a look at the front speakers, and oh, there's the cabling there again. So there's a lot more to take out. This center console will have to come out again because I ran all these cables up through the center console. We've got more RCA's to run in there, and I'll probably obviously swap this signal wire. Basically this is just a 12 volt signal to the amplifiers to turn on when you turn the radio on. We've got new stuff in there, a little bit, hopefully look a little bit nicer. Right, let's go and get a piece of wood, slap it in here and see what it looks like. We'll have to take all this back out and just sit it somewhere else while we play around with that. just quickly, because the battery on the camera is about to run out, we need to swap it out. So I've got these plates that come with the Alpine speakers. This is more for, well, 2 or possibly 3 different mount points. There's actually 4 on here, but I'm not too fussed. Feeling them behind here, some cables just there. I think they're for the electric window. There's nothing much around the rest of it. Oh, some cables that pass through under here for up there. But I think what we can do is we can do something there. What I was thinking about, the old speaker is about 28mm, it's based about 28mm out here. So I've got plenty of space in behind there, so I don't have to do anything with the door card, which I guess is quite good, but you know, still got the nice Alpine ones, be nice to use them, but you know, we go stealth, I guess. The tweeter is quite good. This tweeter moves around inside the casing. The only thing I need to concern myself is the cover actually clips in down the bottom and up the top, and when I look at the way this fits, I might have to just carve a little bit out of there to hold that in place. We'll also use some double-sided tape to hold this in place. Good thing with the tweeter, it's very, very, very small vibration, so I'm not too worried. This whole mounting bracket does move a bit, so I may put something in the back there just to try and stiffen it up just a little bit. There's plenty of cable. We've got the high pass filter, low pass filter. So this should tuck nicely, because this is it's not as fat as where the speaker has to go, so we should be able to stick this somewhere inside. One set, this will go into the back of the speaker. Again, massive amounts of cable here. I'm not sure if it's worth trying to make them shorter. Depends. If I can get some connectors like these, I might make them a little bit shorter, so there's no point in having extra length, but we'll see what we do with that. No, I was just suddenly thinking, do I put it inside the car? But no, I think that would be a bit too adventurous, to be honest. So we'll look to mount this there. We'll look for some connectors, see if we can shorten this up, because this goes to the back of the speaker. If it's there, it only need to be about, well, not even half the length. And then of course we've got all of this for the tweeter. I just need to work out. I just wanted to make sure it's all right. Anyway, waffling and thinking at the same time. Should be talking to the camera. So, got these plates. That'll stick in. We'll get one in hopefully today. Right, okay, so I got the possible plan. So the first things first, I'm going to use the old speaker because it's going to use as a template, right? Because it's got the holes where I need them. So we're just going to line this up here. We'll get a drill. Got a drill bit over, well, and a smaller drill bit somewhere there. Should be enough. I have found some bolts that might be okay, but I've only got 4. That's okay. We can measure them up and maybe buy some more during the week. I did have another plan. I've got some of these here, but what I was thinking I might be able to do is if I sink a slightly bigger hole in, this could go deeper in and then hopefully get right the way through. But we'll see. That might be a plan as well. So we'll have a look. Let's first of all drill the holes. We'll see what it looks like putting some of these in, see how much space we need, because the metal in there is not massively thick, so it's not too bad. This will help. Again, having this in there helps. The wood helps stop vibration in the metal, because when it's just thin metal on the speaker mounting itself, you can get a lot more vibration. Obviously, the hole has been nailed over or curled over, so that helps as well. It keeps it nice and stiff, but this will certainly help keep that as solid as possible. Right, I'm gonna put this, we're gonna give this a go. So I think we're gonna end the video here. Well, I'm gonna stop talking anyway. In the video, there might be, I might add some content after me talking, but just so that I've got this in the can, as so to speak. Thank you very much for watching again. Please like and subscribe, but more importantly, please comment. I really enjoy getting the comments. It's been getting a few recently. Absolutely love talking to all the viewers out there. Thank you very much. Also, thank you for those who are subscribing. Seeing a few trickling in now, which is fantastic. Thank you again. Thank you very, very, very much for that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers for now.